Anyone want to take a stab at it? Let's break it down. What do you think it's similar?
I can give an example.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, never mind.
Very good. All right. Chen Bo, I think it's string. You want to go ahead, practice to say that?
Yes.
Yes, go ahead.
Students are focused both on the research and academic.
Yes, very good. Definitely. I think a lot of studying is happening on all of those campuses. Very good. Thank you. 10127. Go ahead. You want to go ahead and practice to say it? Or Carol, or you, Shran?
I feel like on private school and public school, the student both really focus on studying. But I think the biggest difference is that private school did focus on religion, while public school don't.
Yes, I totally agree. And we definitely saw that in all three of these videos, right? Church is a very integral part of these private schools. So I think it's very interesting. You, Sean, you want to go ahead, practice, and say what you wrote?
Sure. I think that the private schools, they have like very beautiful architecture.
Totally agree. Yeah, especially the last video for Stanford. That church looks like, I don't know, like belong in Rome or something.
Yeah, and I think some of the buildings in the second video, they seem like very modern. Like they have like a lot of like glass, and it just seems very spacious.
Yeah, and I think the LMU video, that's what you're talking about. I think it has a great blend of both, right? It's like modern, but then it preserves some of the culture and the history with some of the more classical looking buildings. Very cool. So it's interesting that you guys are all focusing on architecture. So we have an architect tomorrow who's going to be talking to you. So that will be interesting to bring up. 22, you have a very good point. Tell me a little bit more about that. You want to go ahead and read it? Mr. 22.
Hi.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, some college like I forgot what.
It's okay.
Just some of them are very attach great importance to some, like maybe tennis and maybe basketballs and many of them. But some universities are attach great importance to more the environment that the students can be do other things and maybe just relax and maybe take a walk by the river or just it's just I don't. Also, I'm sorry. I don't know what to.
It's okay. I think you did great. I understand what you're trying to describe, right? So some of the colleges and universities have a huge emphasis on its athletics and the sports team, right? Like you saw Stanford, right? They take so much pride on being the Division One. I think I would like a better word, winner, champion for sports, right? And so Stanford and Berkeley are actually rivals. So, even though Stanford's football team is always better, much better than Berkeley's, but we're rivals. And we saw yesterday too, San Diego State University also played a huge emphasis on their sports team, right? Their homecoming, like their students were very excited. UCLA as well. They had a lot of sports team, football, different type of basketball teams and like athletes. So I 100% agree. And then there are some schools that are like sports is not that important, right? Like you don't see much bragging about Long Beach State. You don't see much bragging about Cal Poly Pomona on their sports team. But I also do agree, like you saw, the private schools have very beautiful tennis courts. So yeah, totally agree. Very cool. And I think for Peihua, you talked about they all have their warrior to Cal Poly. It's the Mustang, or no, are they Mustangs? Broncos. Very good. Minyan, compared to yesterday's colleges, the buildings of these colleges today are very modern. Poing, similarity, focus on the environment. Differences, the school focused more on sport achievement than yesterday from the schools that we saw today. I totally agree. Sometimes I wonder too, right? Because when you do better in sports, you generate more what? What do you think it generates? It's a private school. What do you think they rely on? When you do well in sports, what do you think it generates? How does it help out the school? Any thoughts? Guesses? Would you want to take a guess?
I can give like examples. Each game, not only do the students, for example, like USC, not only do students go to the games, but a bunch of alumni attend games, donors attend games, scouts, which is like the people who come and look at the players if they want to go into major league sports, come look at games. So all of these people are buying tickets. There's a bunch of shirts they can buy, food they can buy on campus when they're in the stadium that they play games. The games are on TV. They're televised because a lot of people want to see them.
So what do you think? So from everything what Ava described, what do you think it brings? What is the one thing it brings to the college that is very important for a private school? Private schools do not depend on the government for funding, right? So why do you think it's important for them to do well in sports? How do you say that in English? Anyone? More students to come. Sing. Money. Yeah. Everything. Students are interested in my school, especially international students, the more money they're going to generate. So everything is money related. The more people that come to my game, they want to watch it, all the shirts they buy. In California, we have so many people who don't go to USC that loves USC. You walk everywhere, they all wear a USC shirt or wear a USC cap or hat, but they never gone to USC. But it's because of the sports team, right? Yeah. All right. So thank you everyone for participating. I'm going to give you a 10-minute break. So it is, I think, 11:30 at your time. Is that correct? So be back at 11:40. Okay, so be back at 11:40 your time, okay? So take a 10-minute break.